After 6 installments, the classic Mega Man series, as far as the NES was concerned, came to a close. So the question regarding Mega Man's future was, will the series continue on the 16-bit generation, or would we get a whole new reboot of some kind? And the answer is both of the above. Mega Man 7 would see release on the Super Nintendo in 1995, but a year earlier we were introduced to a spin-off series, Mega Man X. The X series is canon to the original, taking place over 100 years later. Dr. Light created Mega Man X, a robot who could think, feel, and act on free will in almost a human-like manner. Realizing the potential danger, he sealed X in a capsule for a diagnostic run for over a century to ensure he would be able to grasp right and wrong and all that good stuff. An archaeologist named Dr. Kane finds the capsule and starts mass-producing robots based off of X. But due to the human nature instilled in these robots, some of them turn to crime. The criminal robots are referred to as Mavericks. A group of Mavericks led by the robot Sigma start a revolution with the aim to destroy all humans. X is part of the resistance against the revolt called the Maverick Hunters, led by a powerful robot named Zero. Many elements of the classic series are carried over into Mega Man X. You have 8 stages to choose from to fight in any order you wish. Each one houses a different Maverick you have to fight at the end, and once you defeat him, you'll get his weapon. After the 8 stages are completed, you'll move on to the fortress of the main antagonist, although Dr. Wily in this case has been replaced with Sigma, and this time they actually didn't do a swerve. New features include the ability to scale walls, and sliding is replaced with dashing, which is an upgrade you have to obtain during the game, along with upgrades to your armor, helmet, and X-Buster. You can also obtain heart tanks that increase the maximum level of your health. There's one in each of the 8 Maverick stages, as well as sub-tanks, which replace the famous energy tanks from Mega Man's past. Sub-tanks are different in that you store energy every time you pick up an energy capsule while you're at full health, and then you can use that tank to refill your life meter at any point, and you max out at 4 sub-tanks. There's also a deeply hidden upgrade that lets you fire a Hadouken attack, which really rips shit up, and it's a nod to fellow Capcom series Street Fighter. One thing I'm happy this series kept from the original is the ability to select all 8 stages from the get-go, and strangely, as the classic series continued with Mega Man 7s and 8, they changed it up by splitting the 8 of them into 2 halves. This closed the umbrella of exploration and made finding the weakness loops of each robot master easier. I like having all 8 of them at once. Another aspect that remains from the old games is the high quality graphics and sound. Everything looks nice with detailed backgrounds and smooth animation, and the soundtrack has that signature Mega Man feel to it, although it perhaps has the most stylistic variety of any of its predecessors. The overall formula from the original series remains intact, but updates to the game's features and story reinvent the series. It's not a radical difference, but enough of a difference to bring a fresh look to the franchise. So, as I mentioned earlier, you can select the 8 Maverick stages in any order of your choosing, but first you have an intro stage to clear. Right away, there's cars and trucks flying at you, but don't worry, they just drive around you. This rolling spiked wheel, however, is the first actual hazard. A charged up Buster Shot will do the trick. This guy will fire either a pair of slow missiles straight at you, or a whirl of electricity at your feet. Keep your distance so you can gauge your jumps and blast him. These floating things will crush holes in the ground. Take them out to avoid a potential fall, and soon after is this big ship mini-boss. It fires a stream of bullets, but it doesn't have much range. So stay to the far left as it fires and sends a series of these head-on legs machines while creeping towards you slowly. Just keep firing your X-Buster at its head, and when you destroy it, it'll take out the floor underneath with it. And if you take the ride down, there'll probably be some power-ups to collect from the wreckage. Climb the wall to get back up, and slip down this gap to grab some energy capsules if you need them. Then scale your way back up and move on. Soon after is another one of these guys. Same thing as before, except this one fires missiles. Jump over them and repeat the process from last time, which includes a trip down below, so you'll have to climb back out. Watch out for the collapsing floors toward the home stretch. Don't stop for anything here, including the wasp robots that fly above. They're not much of a threat, just run and gun it. Toward the end, these little guys in cars will try to run over you. Blast them with a charged Buster Shot, or jump over them and take them down. At the end, an aircraft overhead will send a few of these cars down at you. Take them out, and the boss from the stage, one of the Maverick head honchos named Vile, will be dropped from the aircraft. He'll beat the piss out of you. No matter how good you are at this game, there's no way to defeat him. Once your energy is drained to a certain point, a cutscene begins where Vile grabs a hold of you and talks some trash about how weak you are and shit, till Zero swoops in and saves the day, forcing Vile to flee. This is really meant to get over the fact that you're not powerful enough yet and need to collect the upgrades to beat the game. Zero says he's gonna go on ahead and get info on Sigma's fortress, so it's up to you to take out some Mavericks. Now, there are several ways you can go about this. Like in the previous games, each Maverick has a weakness, but also there are upgrades in certain stages that you'll need specific weapons to obtain. So you can cut down on backtracking by taking this into consideration, but I'm going to show you the weakness loop option to make the boss fights easier, and also the backtracking isn't so bad, because you're equipped with an exit option that allows you to leave any stage you've already cleared at any time, making the backtracking less tedious. Now I like to start with Chill Penguin. It's pretty easy to beat, and there's an upgrade you're going to want to get right away. The others you'll need certain weapons for. Use your X-Buster to wipe out all the little shits that float around. And this robot lumberjack, something I never thought I'd see, will send logs at you. Jump over them and take them out. Soon after is a plethora of these rolling spiked wheels. Keep your shot charged and blast them when they show up. Scale your way up and be ready for another wheel at all times until you get to this capsule. A hologram of Dr. Light, who is apparently long since dead by now. He gives you the dash upgrade. This is essential. These ostriches are fucking idiots. They just look around all clueless until finally sending their metal blade your way. Just shoot them down before it can. Soon after is the ride armor. It'll show up in a couple of other stages too. You can use it to punch shit and you won't take damage. But once the armor takes enough hits, it'll blow up and you can still fall into pits, so don't confuse this with invincibility. Instead of trudging your way through all this shit, when you get to this spot right before it goes indoors, hop out of the suit and take this overhead route. You can just skip your way over it until you get to these robots throwing deadly snowballs at you. I really hope these snowballs are loaded with explosives or something to justify damaging a fighting robot from the future. Jump the large snowballs as they careen over the pit and shoot them down. And soon after is Chill Penguin. He'll slide across the ground like a slip and slide. Jump over him and shoot at him when he gets back up. He'll spit a wave of ice which will freeze you temporarily. Stay back and fire through the ice penguins he creates as a barricade. You can take these out. He'll also hop up onto this hook and send a snowstorm at you. Use the wall as a boost to get some more shots in. Soon enough you'll destroy him and get the shotgun ice, which fires a chunk of ice that can break off walls into pieces that can hurt enemies on the rebound. And if you charge it up, you can build a platform of ice, similar to the magnet beam from the original Mega Man. Next up, Spark Mandrill. The stage begins with these blue guys. Take the first ladder up after defeating the first one, and follow the linear path until you get to this area where everything goes dark, but you can still see the platform outline. This bird will fly by quick and light up its path. The second one will get in your way though, so be ready to jump. And there'll be another one right as you land this jump over the pit. The rest of the area is more of these dumbass ostriches. Right after that is this relatively pain-in-the-ass mini-boss that floats around on the ceiling on this giant bubble, sending smaller bubbles that trap you. Stay away from them. He'll also fire a beam of electricity down at you. Stay relatively parallel with him and avoid the beams. Dash about and use the walls to scale up and shoot him when he's bouncing around and clinging to the ceiling. After taking him out, you'll hit a stretch of these guns mounted on the ceilings and floors that alternate between diagonal and horizontal shots, which are slow and easy enough to avoid, as well as some of these little guys. Take them out first and the guns are easy. You'll encounter these beastly bastards. They just sit there and fire these projectiles that parachute down slowly. Just move out of its way and keep firing. When you get to the wall, scale your way back up and grab the heart tank. You'll get a small increase in maximum health. At the home stretch is another dark passageway. Be ready to take down an illuminated bird right away and jump over the next one as you get to this platform. Shoot the legged heads from a distance and advance to the next platform, keeping your eye on the birds ahead. Spark Mandrill awaits. He'll slide across the floor pretty quickly. Use the walls as a boost to hop over. He'll also hang from the ceiling like monkey bars or something. You can use the walls to get a shot in from here too. Just don't let him drop down on you. Last but not least, he'll smash the ground, causing a pair of spark balls to run the perimeter of the room from each side. Jump over them, using the wall preferably. But with the shotgun ice, you won't have to worry about much of that. Just fire into his face, freezing him up, and shoot again after he breaks it open. He'll get an attack off now and again in between, but you should have no problem putting him on ice. You'll get the electric spark, which fires a ball of electricity, and a charged up shot will send 2 spark balls on each side of the floor a la Mandrill. Armored Armadillo is next. Hop on the cart to take a little ride and just fire at everything in front of you. It'll crash on its own and sink into the abyss, so leap off onto a platform. You're given enough time to react accordingly. After a string of bats and these idiot ostriches, this machine behind you will tear through the wall and give chase as you encounter hard hats and bats until you hit this spiked pit where it'll meet its demise. Or you can climb the wall as soon as it breaks out and let it pass and just follow behind it for an easy path, and a bonus. In the spot where it emerged is a sub-tank. Beautiful. You'll need someone's weapon to grab these energy capsules, but you're going to want to come back to this stage later on anyway. So after dealing with that, you've got some of these rolling spiked wheels along with the bats and hats you've encountered throughout the stage so far, and you'll hit up another cart ride. Fall to the left so you avoid the big bastard, and once again let him lead the way through the next area so you don't have to be chased. And scale up this wall for a heart tank. Right after is another cart ride. Fire as you ride it, and it will take you straight to Armadillo's gate, although you're going to want to remember this cart ride for later. Armadillo has a pretty basic pattern. He'll roll up into a ball and bounce off the walls. Run and dash as he does this, as he's invincible in this state. He'll then fire slow shots out of his head, although there are short intervals between, so you're going to have to jump a lot and squeeze your way between them. During each jump, you'll be able to blast him with an electric spark. He'll normally block a lot of your shots. As his name would imply, he's heavily armored, but the electricity cuts through him like a knife. Once you take him out, you'll get the rolling shield. It fires off a ball of energy normally, and a charged shot will put a temporary shield around you. Launch Octopus is your next victim, and as you might have guessed, it's a water-based level. The beginning is littered with these small grasshoppers, and one of those big beasts with the parachute bombs. Take everything out and hop into the water. You'll be in H2O for the vast majority of the rest of the stage. You'll run into a series of seahorses. A pair will line up parallel with each other and roll towards you. You only need to kill the one on the bottom and let the top one pass over you. You'll then encounter a mini-boss. This robot sucks, literally. It sucks you into itself. Dash away and fire off charged shots when you're far enough away. When it stops, it'll fire a series of 4 snakes that'll split off into multiple patterns each. They're not easy to avoid, but you can blast them away to give yourself some space. After taking this beast out, you'll find a school of fish that will swallow you if you get too close, but you can easily fire your way out of them before it can do any damage. You'll then hit up another of these machines, and this one is a pain in the ass due to the spikes. Plus this one goes from suck to blow, so you have to adjust. If you fall into one of the pits, try to grab the wall and climb back up. Once you take them out, use the whirlpool from the ground to get up onto the ship. Shoot down the missiles it fires, and attack the blue target on the ship to destroy it and send you under the ground where you'll face off against another mini-boss. This one a sea dragon. It's very slow and doesn't fire anything. Just aim for the head and keep away from its head or tail. The body is harmless. In fact, you can even use it as a platform. Just watch the little spike bits. After wiping it out, you'll get a heart tank. Go back and climb the wall, and soon after is another mini-boss, another one of the sea dragons. This one's easier due to there being no death traps, and soon after is the gate to Octopus. This 6-armed prick is tough, even with its weakness. He'll fire 4 homing torpedoes. Keep your distance and try to blast them out of your way. He twirls around up in the air to suck you in. He's immune to damage here, so dash away and don't let him get near you or he'll grab a hold of you, suck out your energy, and replenish his own. It sucks, literally. Keep this process up until you turn him into seafood and you'll acquire the homing torpedo, or horming torpedo. Now that doesn't sound sexual at all. The torpedo is heat-seeking, so it'll travel vertically if it has to and target the closest enemy. Kicking off the second half of the Maverick hunting is Boomer Kuwanger stage, or Boomer Kuwanger, whatever the hell it's supposed to be. Climb the ladders and you'll meet the newest incarnation of Sniper Joe. This one throws a mace in your face. Get close to him to trigger his attack, and jump over it and give him a charged shot to wipe him out. Then take out the lasers from a distance, as they'll scroll up and down the wall and get in your way otherwise. After climbing more ladders, you'll hit an area with infrared beams that turn on and off. If you cross it while it's on, these hovering devices will fire a laser at you. Try to dodge these if you cross them, and wait for those hovering pricks to swoop down so you can get them out of your way during this. After a bunch of these turtle bots, you'll enter an elevator encased with spikes and little spiked platforms and shit. Use the rolling shield to block yourself from these little dipshits that float above, but watch the spikes at all times. More wall climbing, and you'll get these little platforms that poke out from the walls with mounted guns. Use them as leverage and shoot the guns down while you're on your way. There's a heart tank here, but you can't get it yet. Remember it for later. Up ahead, you'll get these small cannons mounted on floating platforms. Shoot the cannon to clear the way for you to use the platforms to ascend, and the gate to Boomer is nearby. He'll teleport around the room, which can make him a pain to deal with, but not if you have the homing torpedo. The torpedo will target him at all times, so just fire away like a madman and avoid him. If he grabs you, he'll toss you into the ceiling for some damage. What the hell is up with all these gropey mavericks? He'll also attack with the boomerang cutter attached to his head, similar to Cutman's attack from Mega Man 1, but different in that it's actually a threat. Once you take him out, you'll get said weapon, which fires a boomerang in an upward arc that comes back to you, or downward if you're jumping. It's pretty awkward, but it does grab out of reach items, some of which we'll need to backtrack for, but I'll get into that later. Next on our hit list is Sting Chameleon. After traversing through a few lumberjackasses and various smaller enemies, you'll come across what seems like a bottomless pit. Slip down, break the blocks, and do a dash jump to get the heart tank sitting over here. Leap back, and then climb up the wall right above it for a mini boss battle. This guy launches his arm out in an attempt to throw you around like a rag doll, and jumps back and forth. He's slow moving, so he's not that hard to avoid. Just keep in mind if he gets a hold of the wall, he'll pull himself into it, so use the wall as a dash escape and shoot him in the head until he's dead. You'll be rewarded with an armor upgrade. It reduces your damage by 50%. Shouldn't this upgrade have been in Armored Armadillo stage somewhere? Back it up and continue down the path you bypassed. Now normally here, the roof will cave in with a bunch of boulders coming down, but because you took out the mini-boss, the only rock that comes down is the one with this little guy in it. He's much easier to just wipe out without the distraction of the falling rocks. After that, you get an assortment of small woodpeckers and other minor pests, as well as Sniper Maceball Joe hiding away in this rock. An extra life is not so subtly planted in the snook above him. You'll hop into an armored suit right after. Punch away at everything in front of you. The only threat here, and anyway really, are the armored guys. Just time your punches and you should be able to come away with flawless victories. If you need an energy capsule, there's one on the platform up here. Soon after is Chameleon's lair. He'll hang from the ceiling by his tongue and shake the walls, causing spikes to fall from the ceiling. Get an attack on him with the boomerang cutter right away to disrupt this, and you won't have as many spikes to dodge. Another trick he'll pull is by latching onto the wall in the background and flick small spikes from his tail. You can catch him before he even gets his attack off. Otherwise, dash away to give yourself some space to dodge. After you wipe him out, you'll get the first weapon directly named after the boss, the Chameleon Sting. It's exactly the same for dyslexics. It fires 3 beams in multiple directions, and when charged up, you'll become invincible. The first invincibility power-up in Mega Man history, not counting recovery time. 6 down, 2 to go, and Storm Eagle is next. Hop from moving platforms down here onto the belt above and ride it to the top, taking out these hovering robots along the way. When you get to the top, do a dash jump to the left and grab the heart tank on this platform. Then take the ride back to the top. Shoot the gun off this platform and stand on it. It'll take you up here. Blast your way through this blue window to get inside. Take out the blue bastard and grab the sub-tank. Hop across these moving platforms and take out the flame guns that sit on the platforms ahead. Climb this wall and slip down here. Blow up the tanks here and you'll find another Dr. Hologram, obtaining the helmet upgrade which allows you to take out blocks above you, like some of the ones in this room. It doesn't come in handy all that much, but it's essential for another upgrade later on. After scaling back up the wall, there's an easy extra life on the platform up here. Take out the pinchy guys along your way. Jump quickly across these platforms. They'll drop almost immediately after contact, and the gate to Mr. Eagle is just ahead. You'll be transported via trapdoor to the top of the ship, which triggers the walls to explode, and the battle begins. He'll hover in the air and spit eggs that hatch into 3 baby birds. Kill the babies, and use the Chameleon Sting diagonal angle shots to hit him while he's in the air. He'll swoop down diagonally a few times, move out of the way, and when he starts trying to blow you, off the ship with the Storm Tornado, dash towards him and fire. When you take him out, you'll get the Storm Tornado, a horizontal tornado stream, and when charged up, it creates a larger, more traditional looking tornado. Last but not least is Flame Mammoth. Normally there'd be lava across the floor, but since we beat Chill Penguin, it's all frozen, making it much easier to traverse through. Another interesting part of the game I didn't mention earlier is how conquering certain stages will affect other stages. Most of them are just visual aspects, but this one actually affects the gameplay. Without the threat of the lava, you don't even need to fight all this shit up here. Soon after is the deepest hidden upgrade, not counting the Hadouken. You need to make a dash jump across this platform and mash through the blocks on the ceiling that you could barely tell were even there, and then you can slip while following through. You'll reach Dr. Light's ghost again, and he awards you with a Buster upgrade. This makes your X-Buster even more ruthless than it already was, and lets you charge up the weapons that have a charge ability. You'll then reach a plethora of pickaxe robots, a callback to Mega Man 1. Dodge their attacks, shoot them down, and make your way to the platform at the top. Head left, and when you get to the edge with the extra life, dash jump off and break the blocks in the wall to get the sub-tank. There's also a heart tank on the floor down here. If you hadn't beaten Chill Penguin and frozen the floor, you wouldn't be able to get this. But you have, so grab it. Scale the wall, and there's more conveyor belts here. But this time you can't pass underneath them all. And there's also a big freaking thing that'll crush you unless you get out of there quickly. Shoot down the robots that fire the lasers, or jump past them. Now you get a couple of forks in the road here. The top route is always easier. You're dealing with the same scrolling spiked things and Sniper Mace Joes either way, but the bottom also has the acid drop dealios from Mega Man 2, plus lava if you haven't killed off the penguin yet. So yeah, take the top route, and Flame Mammoth is right around the corner. The battle takes place on a conveyor belt, but this big galoot will jump very slowly. If you're on the ground when he lands, it'll knock you on your ass and put you in a vulnerable state, so jump to avoid this. Fire the Storm Tornado at him, and avoid the globs of oil he fires out. He'll follow it up with the fire wave that'll ignite it and further the damage that a normal shot of fire would. He can deal some damage, but it's pretty easy to see all his shit coming. So as long as you're not careless, you'll send this mammoth into extinction and get the fire wave as a reward. It shoots a stream of fire, and when charged up, it'll send a wave of fire across the floor. It won't work underwater though. Now before we head on to Sigma's Fortress, it's time to backtrack a bit and pick up some upgrades we couldn't get to before. First at Chill Penguin stage, remember the spot where you leaped out of the armor to travel overhead? Use the fire wave here to wipe this thing out and grab the heart tank. In Spark Mandrill stage, at the beginning, instead of going up this ladder, take the down route, and at the end of the room there's a sub-tank behind the wall. Use the boomerang cutter to snag it. In Boomer Kuwanger stage, when you finish climbing all the ladders before the home stretch, use the boomerang cutter to snag the heart tank. And last but not least is at Armored Armadillo stage. First off, you'll need to stock up on lives because you strangely need to kill yourself a few times to make this work. You're also going to have to do this one last, as it only works if you have every other upgrade. At the end of the stage, when you take the final ride on the cart before you fight Armadillo, instead of hitting up the gate, grab onto the wall and scale up for an energy capsule. Grab it and then jump into the bottomless pit below to your death. Trust me, I know this is fucked up. You'll return shortly before the cart ride. Repeat the process, killing yourself once again, and then do one more of the same thing, and on the fourth attempt, you'll get a Dr. Light hologram capsule where he gives you the Hadouken shot. Although it only works when you have a full life bar, it's a one-hit kill machine, even on the final boss. I guess a major reward considering all the requirements that need to be met, and how so ridiculously hidden and obscure it is. But since this is practically a cheat code, I won't include this beast as part of the walkthrough. If you want to use it, then you don't need any instructions anyway, just kill. So now it's on to Sigma's Fortress. You get a short cutscene that depicts you and Zero locating the fortress, and Zero insists on splitting up, so he takes off. Early on, you have a big batch of these big fuckers. After clearing them out, you have to jump onto these floating platforms. They're a bit tricky, and you'll need to latch onto the sides of them to make your way up, but it's complicated by these little bastards that hover on by. This is simplified greatly with the rolling shield. After battling through some common enemies we've seen before, you'll soon reach Vile, although Zero cuts you off and insists on battling him, and they race off into the gate to fight it out. Follow them, and Vile is fully armored up and taking Zero hostage, threatening to kill him if you don't do exactly what he says, which I can only assume is something kinda rapey considering Vile doesn't respect X's fighting ability. So the fight begins, or sort of anyway, because you can't win, much like the first battle with Vile, even with Hadouken shots. This guy is impenetrable. Just let him pummel you until you're almost dead. And then Zero hops on his back and triggers some kind of explosion that wipes himself out, but also destroys Vile's armor suit. He'll get a recharge of energy, which is nice, and the sub-boss battle begins. He'll dash back and forth across the floor, and soar overhead. Jump over him or dash depending on which. He'll stand on one end and fire off orbs of energy. Keep your distance and attack in between. When he's overhead, he'll sometimes drop bombs that'll spread orbs across the floor. Get to the wall so you can jump over the orbs and not get blasted with the bombs. You don't want to be underneath him. Meanwhile, you can attack him with the homing torpedoes. It's pretty effective in that it'll track him down. You don't have to fire only when he's in front of you, but it doesn't drain as much of his energy as the rolling shield, so pick his poison. After taking him out, you'll find Zero laid out, who praises your progress and encourages you to take down Sigma before he dies. So you gotta win this one in his honor. You'll run into a series of infrared beams that trigger the lasers from above, as well as Sniper Mace Joes to contend with. It's tricky to jump and lure his shots above you because of the damn sensor and this damn thing that floats down to distract you. But do it if you can manage, and be sure not to land on the springs. They'll send you into the sensors or any of the other shit above you. You can also use the Chameleon Sting Invincibility power-up to spam your way through it. But if you're conservative with the ammo on it, mainly in case you die, you'll want to save it for the next part, cause holy shit is this ever a pain in the ass. You'll have to scale the walls, hop from one side to the other, take out the scrolling guns above you in some cases, and guess what? They fucking respawn. You could be trapped in the sequence forever, so fuck it. Just load up on Chameleon Invincibility and skip merrily through all this shit. If the game's gonna be a dickhead, you gotta be a dickhead to the game. You'll approach a gate and it looks like it's gonna be the boss of the stage, right? Nope, it's Boomer Kuwanger. Looks like Capcom kept the robot rematches tradition in place too. Repeat the strategy from the last time and move on. It would have been helpful if they kept the tradition of awarding you with an energy capsule after redefeating a Robot Master or Maverick, but oh well. I guess the in-level rematches and lack of energy rewards is a nod to Mega Man 1. Anyway, all that's left is a short home stretch with hard hats, rolling spiked wheels, and these floating flux. Nothing that should give you much trouble. I must suggest this as a good spot to refill your energy. Weapon energy, load up on your sub-tanks, maybe some extra lives, shit like that. Might as well use the enemy respawning to your advantage if it plays to your disadvantage in other spots too. Soon after is the boss, for real this time. I swear, third time's a charm. And what better way to cap off a pain-in-the-ass level than with a pain-in-the-ass boss. The spider will creep down from the top of the screen, and the web connector dailies in the background serve as a means of letting you know where he's gonna go. All you care about is where he's gonna finish, as you can then move away from that area and give him a blast of shotgun ice when his eye opens up. Which is the only time in the whole fight you can deal any damage, and it's brief, so time it right. It will also send its children into battle. You'd think that with all the robots now acting on free will, they'd be too emotional to let their children die for them, but I guess not, even if it's just a spider. Blast them, or just jump over them if you don't want to risk losing your weapon energy. They're not too fast, just keep in mind that you won't be awarded with any power-ups after killing them. They provide zilch. Eventually you'll take them out and it's on to the second Sigma stage. Now you might be thinking, shit, that last stage was fucking grueling. What could be on the horizon? Well, don't worry, that was the most difficult level in the game. Not to say that the rest are easy or anything. In the beginning, there are these platforms that roll around on a belt. Shoot the bats down before jumping. You don't want to get knocked into the large pit below. After that is some more bats, these moron ostriches, and a wall to climb before hitting the first sub-boss of the stage, Chill Penguin. Use the same strategy as earlier, only use the fire wave this time. After redefeating him, hop into this armor suit and just bash everything in sight. Nothing more needs to be said. You'll soon enter a rematch with Storm Eagle, and now is the point where you have to make a decision. Chameleon Sting is the weapon of choice against him, but you may want to reserve some of it, so check out what's ahead before making a decision. So, either ding him with Sting, or use the X-Buster. After that is a short stretch of bats, Sniper Mace Joes, and rolling spiked wheels. It's awkward trying to take out the Joes from down here while all the other shit is in your face, not to mention that you need to climb the wall to draw Joe's attack in to get his shield out of the way, so you may want to use the Chameleon Invincibility here. Right after is the boss, and yes, this face in the wall is also allergic to the Chameleon Stinger. It has two main attacks. The first is an eyeball attack. If it's green, it'll fire a bullet. If it's blue, it'll just roll in your direction, and if it's red, it'll roll towards you and fire 3 bullets. The other attack involves the walls closing, leaving only the spikes below, and its nose starts bouncing off the walls. Obviously, you want to remain clinging to the wall, but hop off briefly to get your attacks off. Each eye and the nose has its own portion of health. Don't worry, they don't have their own complete life bars, they share the same one. After wiping it out, you're ready for stage 3. This is not much more than a gauntlet of the remaining Mavericks. You want to use the same strategy. First is one of the big-ass bots with the parachute bombs, while a cannon mounted on the ceiling fires down at you. And then the rematch with Armored Armadillo follows. Then you've got a couple of pickaxe men and some bats with an energy capsule up top that you might want to grab, followed by the rematch with Sting Chameleon. Then some more pickaxe men and this thing on the ground with some power-ups you'll need, the boomerang cutter to grab, followed by the rematch with Spark Mandrill. Then you'll slip into the water. There'll be a few of these fish that you should take 0 damage from. Grab the power-ups and be ready for launch Octopus. In the final stretch, there's a bit of a fork in the road and a bunch of bullshit to contend with at the bottom, but you're better off just blowing over the top with the Chameleon Sting across the spikes. You want to get the extra life weapon and energy capsules up there anyway. And right after is the rematch with Flame Mammoth. After that is the main boss, your 6th boss fight of the stage, Jesus Christ. This machine is split into 2 halves. The top half is your target. You don't want to make contact with it, but you can touch the bottom piece so long as you're standing on it. You don't want it crushing you against the wall. Watch its movements and maneuver your way between them, hurling boomerang cutters at the top piece. It will also join together and fire off huge energy orbs at you. Use the wall to keep yourself from coming into contact with any of this shit. After destroying it, it's on to the 4th and final stage. Just climb the wall, and if you have any room to spare in your sub-tanks, you might want to consider working over these small vermin for potential energy capsules. It might take you a while, but that's what you get for using them up after the first Sigma stage where all that stocking up was recommended. You're going to want as much help as you can here, so I recommend having all 4 tanks chock full. When you get up the wall, you encounter Sigma, who says he would destroy you, but he doesn't want to rob his pet wolf Velgarder of the pleasure. Then he says if you live, he'll fight you, and says don't disappoint me, X. So he'll be disappointed if you don't kill his wolf? Wow, even Dr. Wily wasn't this much of a douchebag. He'll run back and forth and bounce off the wall. Use the wall as a springboard to get away from him and keep your distance from his spitfire of orbs, and blast him with the shotgun ice. His patterns are simple, but he's a quick bastard, so be careful. After taking him out, Sigma shows up, talks some shit to you, pulls out his lightsaber, and it's on. He'll dash back and forth across the walls, ascending and descending a little bit each time. Hit him with the electric spark when you line up with him, and dash your way to the opposite side of where he's gonna land. He'll take a swing with his saber if you're too close to him, so keep your distance, and sometimes he'll fire these projectiles from his head. But as long as you're high up on the wall, he won't come close to hitting you. After taking him out, you'll get the 3rd straight boss battle without a power-up, as he takes new form of a weird-ass giant hybrid of himself and his pet wolf. The 2 claws that float around will send a wave of electricity vertically in both directions. You'll see a short spark develop before it fires. That's your cue to get the fuck out of the way. He'll also fire a stream of orbs or flame and sweep across the floor with it. If you're on the ground, keep away from it, but watch out for the claws. They might send electricity up your ass while you're trying to avoid it. The claws can be used as platforms, so you'll need to climb up on them and blast his head up with the rolling shield. But you have to watch out for the electricity attacks while you're standing on these things. And also the bottom portions of the claws are spiked up, so don't make contact with it when you're trying to grab onto the side. Be careful of the other claw, as it might come launching its way into your direction. You have to have eyes on every side of your head for this, and this is why you need to have all your sub-tanks filled up for this fight, because this is a difficult one. Plus you have 2 bosses right before it with no power-up rewards in between. After you finally defeat him, he'll lament his bitter defeat to you before exploding, just as you escape. X watches the fortress go down as he ponders the violence of the war and his fellow comrades that have died for the cause, indirectly referring to Zero's sacrifice, hinting that X is looking at a future with post-traumatic stress disorder, something that was never a problem for the humanlessness of the old Mega Man. The credits roll and the cast of characters are run down as X takes a long run. I guess even in the future, Mega Man likes to take long victory laps instead of teleporting. So that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.